Good evening, everybody. To everybody who lives on my continent, we're going to be getting things started. Summer Games Speedrun Saga is rolling into day 10. It's going to be a Game Boy Advance block. Welcome back, everyone. And of course, the first run of the night, it's gonna be a good one. We're getting things started with Star Wars Trilogy, Apprentice of the Force, and it is my privilege and pleasure to actually have somebody else helping with the commentary as well. We got a runner who is currently, as of right now, until I get things sorted out, the second best regular game runner in the world. If you will feel free to introduce yourself, here is the Moon Truther, everybody.
Hello, I am hailing from the Southern Hemisphere to commentate, I guess, tonight, so, yeah, good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, Moon Truther is a pretty good runner, too. He was the second person who got me out of my hiatus to play the game again, and, yeah. If y'all get the chance, you should subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's got some good speedruns going there, so.
Thank you for that.
Other than that, I guess I'll just give some details on what's going to be going on here. I am not doing the trench run skip category. We're going to be doing the regular beat the game category, so everything is going to be done as intended. There's no extra effects that could be implemented before the game begins, so it's going to be just a run-through of the classic 3 episodes, so should be a good time. I think it's going to be good fun, and we'll get some bits of knowledge from myself and the Moon Truther. So, yeah. Anything else to say before I get started? Yeah, I agree with you on that. So, without further ado, I am going to get the run started. We'll give the countdown, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. So, do you know anything about the original trilogy? We're starting with episode 4. Movement is pretty basic.
Yeah, quite the very first section where they is quite endless, I guess.
Yeah.
I've lost many a run just trying to get the perfect thing here, even though the movement's not too difficult.
For a lot of people that get into this game, this is sort of like an introductory experience of like just how to use the blaster, the basic controls, jumping, etc. So this is one of the most optimized segments for the Star Wars Trilogy speedrunning community, and I just so happen to be the slowest. I got like a 52 high.
I definitely reset that a lot, which I probably shouldn't. I get a lot done. I'd probably get some better times if I actually kept going with my runs, but...
So I kind of just understated the hardest pit in the game. We just passed that right now. It's the bane of early runs.
Especially since it takes a decent bit to reset, having to go all the way back.
Yeah.
It is quite annoying whenever you fall in that early line.
So, Tusken Raiders, they're fun.
Quick to kill, normally 2 bullets unless they raise their arms.
Gotta love when they taunt, makes them a bit easier to dispose of. So, I guess this particular section here, and as a fun fact, Ghost Boy is one of the very few runners that has managed to skip this entire fight cutscene right here.
It's not something we've been able to find a way to replay
it would certainly be at least 10 to 15 second time save in this episode and the game in general. So yeah, if anybody is willing to help us and finding a way to make that consistent, that would be fantastic. We'd love that.
That would be I entered the section with a lot more health than I do. Generally, by this point, taking a lot more hits.
Yeah, well, that and I went into the sand pit a lot. So that right there is a new strat that was actually discovered by the Moontrooper, no less. It's a different way to handle the Tusken leader.
I would say Grey Wolf discovered it. I got it from watching.
Oh, Grey Wolf.
Thing, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Grey Wolf, yeah. It's a slightly different setup. It's a bit safer. I'm not sure if it's faster or slower, but it's a lot more consistent.
I have noticed that, like, occasionally I've been able to get away with, oh, that is unfortunate, leaving R2 behind.
Yeah,
I have been able to kill those Tusken Raiders that are below the mini-boss and not have them respawn, which does save me a little bit of time. But yeah, it is definitely more consistent to just be able to jump on that platform.
Mm-hmm. Well, and since we're away from the Tusken Raiders, we're getting to some of my favorite parts of this game, and I put favorite in quotation marks. It's R2-D2.
Classic R2-D2.
You have anything to say about R2-D2, Moon? Because I know I have something to say.
I have... God, he's quite slow, obviously, but one of the other things is, if he takes any damage, he's gonna be stopping at a healing port for like 5 seconds-ish, and that can really slow you down.
Yeah, it does. Whenever possible, outside of, like, ships, we prefer to keep R2 damage-free. It isn't always a guarantee, but we do our best. And,
I find it, in the Death Star especially, whenever he takes damage, I'm probably going to be missing him or something like that.
Yeah. And, former world record holder Smart Alec lovingly gave the nickname Slow 2D2 to R2. It is. So a lot of this is just balancing out when you dash versus when you don't, and it's a combination of the two.
It is difficult to get right, because you want to be as fast as possible, obviously, but if R2 gets too far away, then you're going to have to double back, and you're losing a lot of time for that.
Mm-hmm. That's a lovely little quirk of the game. Whoops. Okay. No health pack for me.
Needs it, honestly.
I will later. If I miss one, it's not the end of the world. But I do definitely want as many of them as possible.
It is nice to be able to take away.
Yeah, especially in episode 6.
Yeah.
Now, from here on forward, for most of this episode, you get to really see kind of just how dash tech works.
Yeah, there are a few quirks with it, for sure. I find that it's sometimes a little hard to do near the corners of something you're standing on, but it's alright.
We're getting to our first major skip that's reproducible. I'll see if I hit it. Which I did not. Yeah.
This is one, I'm really bad at getting the skip, but that is something I definitely needed to practice.
Yeah.
But it is quite nice that it's something we found to be reasonably consistent.
And if you get it, it saves about, I'd say, 5 to 10 seconds, if done well.
Nice. I'm not sure how familiar your community is with this game. I guess you've streamed quite a bit, but...
Not a terrible amount. They know the general way this game works, but not on, like, the details like the three of us. Alright. Let's see if I can get an elevator skip.
Yeah, this is quite an important section. I can show that looks, that makes sense.
Oh, I missed it.
I have tried practicing this section, yeah.
Oh, I missed it twice. Okay. Yeah, elevator skip is a little bit tougher than the previous skip I was trying to go for, so, you know.
Very tight margin there.
No shame in missing it.
But it's a reasonable time save if you can grab it.
About 6 or so seconds, I think.
That sounds about right.
So this is one of the few blasters that if you fire it the right way, it will shoot through multiple enemies.
See, I never really use that perk.
And I hardly ever do either. Oh, I was going for broke there. There we go, that's better.
I do that surprisingly often.
Me too. Okay. And we got ourselves a speeder right here. So now we're going to be flying to the Millennium Falcon. Out of all the parts of episode 4, this is surprisingly one of the tighter executed sections. Like,
Yeah.
there's not much room for error here.
I feel like a lot of the spawns are very quick.
They appear fairly quickly too, so you can get easily overwhelmed by them.
Yeah.
I kind of played it safe, and I sort of slowly walked there. That section's not an easy one, and this jump is pretty stupid, so we played easy. And we are on our way to the Death Star. I don't know why Boba Fett is here. He doesn't appear until episode 5, so,
Just coming in to say hello.
yeah, I guess it's either that or LucasArts has decided to revise history in the Star Wars universe. I'll accept either.
Not canon. Not canon.
Once you get really good at this section, like, this is such a fun part of the game to play through.
The timings in this area are very satisfying to pull off.
Mm-hmm. And it's also the introduction of pits. Everybody loves pits.
Very harsh thing for this game. Just insta-kill pits wherever you go.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, we're a little early on that first one. It's fine. Alright. That section's a little tricky.
When I do this section, I try kill the guy up top to get the green gun.
Yeah, it's actually pretty helpful. I do tend to play it a little bit riskier. You can start to see where individual optimizations can be made.
really interesting because you would think that the enemy up there is part of it, but no, they're not, and it just takes a really long time for everyone below to decide they want to spawn in.
Yeah. Also, here we are on first scary section of the game. You can die very easily on these encounters.
It is quite easy to end up dead.
Which is why I opted to take them one section at a time. You'll thank yourself if you do it that way as a beginner. So I'm going to take this healing item. Even though there's like another one, you really don't want to get caught dead like this.
Yeah, a lot of these sections are decently long, so one death can really just ruin
It does. It's not as bad in episode 4, but it is still irritating. Very irritating.
Absolutely. Particularly true for that section with the two lasers and the stormtroopers coming from both sides. Dying there, as common as it is quite punishing.
It is. Also, the door that I passed by, fun fact, Moon Truther found a bit of a glitch where you can sort of phase through it.
Yeah. So if you just spam jumps, simply, and a lot of the doors in this section, because they're so short, you hit your head and bounce really oddly, which can technically let you go up ledges that you would have otherwise just been able to jump up. It doesn't really help anything, but it's quite amusing.
It is. One of the funniest glitches discovered by the speedrunning community. Also,
Unfortunately not super helpful, but
yeah. As you may notice, I was sort of placing myself at a very peculiar position right next to the turret.
there are specific blind spots on these turrets where they just can't hit you, which is quite nice for not having to shoot them over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Like, the faster you learn it, the better. Okay, I'm gonna need some HP soon enough, because we could get ourselves in trouble pretty early. Yeah, whatever, it's fine. I'll blind spot this one. This one I always push really close. That should be fine.
Yeah, I think some of them drop. Yeah, the one that does drop out there. Very close, but
Yeah.
got through it.
I brought it equally as close in many world record runs. It's a bit scary. But we got one more switch to press to unlock a door, and, well, yeah, we'll be on to another favorite of mine.
Little section. It is quite close to be able to grab that without getting trapped behind, but it is possible.
So yeah, welcome back to Slow 2D2. As if,
Best character in the game.
yeah,
Everyone.
my favorite. Alright. That was pretty efficient.
Avoided getting damage.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll get good cycles, because R2-D2 can certainly determine if there is time save or none whatsoever.
Yeah. Fun fact, you can actually dash over that little gap, but R2D2 obviously can't go over without opening the bridge, so it doesn't really save any time.
So I ditched R2 there. There's high likelihood of taking damage many different times, and we just want to avoid it as much as possible.
It's definitely one of the most risky sections. Ooh.
Good
Barely
elevator
getting
cycle.
R2 on there.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
nice.
That worked out nicely. Also, true to the film, One stormtrooper. You gotta love it. Dang it.
That is one of the most annoying things about this game. Too quick. It's just... Sorry, I can't go this way without hunting.
Yeah. That'll happen probably once or two more times at least.
Leia is much nicer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The princess is just my favorite character in the game. And you'll see why. Because I can shoot in one direction. Princess Leia, she'll shoot vertically, and she'll not vertically. She'll shoot horizontally, and in the opposite direction of you, so it's the best. I'm about to
heal as soon as you heal yourself, so it's alright for her to take a few hits. You don't need to slow down her really.
And another Star Wars cutscene.
That huge ward is something you can just dash through.
Yeah. Now that's based off the original Star Wars trilogy. I need to get some HP myself, because if I don't, I'm gonna die.
I don't know what Leia was doing there.
No, I don't know either. So I got some really bad luck on the Stormtrooper patterns. It was kind of ugly for a moment there. Shoot away, and yeah. We'll eventually get some stormtroopers I have to shoot diagonally.
This section is nice because it's kind of like a little break, at least for me. I find it reasonably relaxing to have my health.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a break. So I let the stormtroopers shoot me a bit. Mostly because, well, Leia will be easier to save than myself. Wait. Never mind. Anyways, we're getting to one of the worst parts of Episode 4, which is the TIE Fighter Roundup.
I'm not sure who's fastest in this section.
Ghost Boy, maybe?
I think it might be.
It has to be. I think Ghost Boy had some of the gutsiest, like, patterns. This is the one I played the safest.
I am rather inconsistent here, where sometimes I just get really good patterns, and sometimes I get myself killed because I'm playing too risky.
The name of the game when it comes to doing a marathon run of this is to chase down a few TIE fighters if your HP gets a little low, and then to sort of lasso them in, and like a herd of sheep. A herd of sheep that fires blasters, no less.
Yeah, hitting into them can be one of the most deadly things, though.
Yeah, it can be bad, which is why you'll see me switch between, like, hurting them and just kind of chasing one of them. Because they will, they're some of the most aggressive AI in the game. Perfect example. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. No big deal. Yeah. In a regular run, outside of, like, attempts for world record, it's expected. You're gonna die at least once or twice on this section.
Yeah. This is one of the runs.
So I'm okay knowing that I already took one death here, because if I don't take a death here, we'll be taking at least a few deaths in the next section.
If I'm not wrong, you're the only one who has recorded themselves going deathless.
Yes.
Thing, which is very impressive.
It was the first ever deathless TIE Fighter roundup and trench run. And it was on a world record, no less. Unfortunately, that world record has many deaths in Hoth.
Yeah.
And right now, that's not the one thing that's on my mind. You know it's bad when the TIE Fighters are taking my mind off of the biggest blunder in my world record speedrun. They are straight up trolling me right at the moment. This is so bad. Oh my gosh!
Yeah. Wow, that was a lot of damage. That's exactly why ramming can be very deadly. It seems very inconsistent how much damage you do take.
Yeah, it really is. You can sometimes, like, take very minor chip damage, and it'll just, like, take away 1/5 to 1/4 of your bar at once. It's mystifying. I wish I knew more about how it works, because this part of the game is like a mystery to me.
Yeah.
I just...
At least in this section, R2 is actually helpful by healing you.
Yeah. The one time R2 is actually a good astromech droid.
I'm not sure how consistent the spawning is here.
Oh, man! That's rough. That's just rough.
Yeah.
Alright.
Sometimes I find I've killed the previous wave, and it takes another like 10 seconds for the next group to spawn, and sometimes I've only killed one, and then 6 more are flying at me. And I'm not exactly sure what the criteria is to spawn the next wave, but...
Usually they appear in groups of 6 unless it's the very first group, so... You want to, like, optimal strats, and there is really no optimal strats for this section of the game yet. Even at my world record runs, I have had stuff that is slower than my personal best by a long shot. The name of the game here is just do your best to stay stay alive, don't take too much damage, and, get ready to...
Basic pack is very good.
Yeah.
Giving yourself a little bit of help.
Mm-hmm.
As you saw though, it's very easy to just suddenly take a ton of damage and be out.
Half of the game is just to trick the TIE Fighters into believing they're not being chased. Okay, I'm getting better luck on this one. Hopefully this attempt should pull through, but you never know. This might be the marathon luck. Yeah. And I don't know where I took half a bar of damage, but I did. Okay, we got 2 more. This should be fine. Let's see.
You don't seem to use the boost very much.
No, not much. Because it actually can lose you some time. I like to slow down on purpose. Alright, we're finally through that section. We're onwards to the trench run.
Here we go.
So this one's interesting.
Oh, not a great start.
This one here is the epitome of losing track of where the game is in relative like location to where you are.
Yeah. I've played this so many times, and I only have like a few locations where I'm like, oh, okay, now I know where I am.
Yeah. Like, if there's anything that really just shows like the brutality of the game, this is it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Like, we'll be lucky to go through this run with, this section with less than 1 death. Half the battle is just staying away from these, lovely little wall sections, and then the other half is manipulating the TIE Fighters in a way where you can guide them into said wall sections.
Decently slow. So if you are fast enough, it's not too tricky, but least it's mostly difficult when there's multiple of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's when you get to multiple that, like, you cannot rely on just guiding them to a single station. They will catch on to it. Alright, so let's see.
The way that you take damage is also very strange here. Where...
Can I make it to the TIE Fighter Roundup Part 2? Maybe?
Be very nice.
It would be. Not likely. I will make it. Okay, good.
Not even close.
So I'm gonna purposefully take a death here.
Yeah, that is logical to me.
So this section is annoying.
Yeah.
What I like to do is I like to sort of go in a reverse counterclockwise pattern. So kind of guide them away from you. Because if they run right into you, your ship generally gets destroyed.
Yeah. Very nice there.
Yeah.
That was quite clean.
I agree. That was good. If I'm going to show something off really nicely, I'd like it to be that section.
Yeah. It is difficult for reasons you would not expect. A lot of the time when the ships collide with each other, it's just very random what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's random because, like, one of a few things can happen. One thing that can happen is your ship can run the TIE Fighters can run directly behind you and destroy your ship that way. Another way the TIE Fighters can destroy your ship is to run in front of you. And, it can throw you off. Because when they're in front of you, that's when you're supposed to destroy them. But sometimes they'll just get too close to you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
And if they touch you from the front, even though they have moving forward, I don't know how the game physics thinks that, but you just instantly explode.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Alright, we made it through the trench run. One death, not bad at all.
We go. And here we go. The most menacing character throughout the entire thing, Darth Vader. Always. Very little threat.
I don't know about you, Moon, but I think Darth Vader's gonna get me.
I mean, yeah, you're looking pretty low.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Darth Vader might, I don't know. I'm in danger. I think I'm in danger. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, there's Han Solo. We're good now.
Was saved.
Ah, yes. So that's episode 4. We're done there.
Little close, but...
Yeah, I did drive it closer than I thought I would. Like 1/10 of a health bar remaining. It's fine.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Alright, we're on to episode 5.
Episode 5.
This is part of the run where we finally get a lightsaber.
Lightsaber's definitely a lot of fun to use. It's more fun than the blaster, I'd say, but it's got a few little tricks in it.
In the early part of the game, we don't have many techniques, but the one that we use the most in this run is the uppercut early on.
Yeah. It's just very efficient. It gets a lot of slashes in.
Yeah.
It's a very quick look at that. Just destroy. I do not remember the name of the creature. I
Wampas?
apologize. Yeah, Star Wars knowledge on that one.
If anybody has Star Wars knowledge that I wish was here, that would be Ghost Boy.
Yeah, he is definitely a bigger Star Wars fan than me.
Shoutouts to Ghost Boy. Great runner. Great person. This is one we do not want to miss. There we go.
Quite easy how the back doesn't take too long to get to.
That's a scary jump. Go for it every time, because it does save a bit of time by comparison.
Now this section is a little kinder with the pits because a decent amount of them have ice sheets over them that you can't stand on. Which is nice. But if you do fall in any open pit, then that's a very quick way to die.
It is. So, there were a few sections where I played it safe, just kind of slowly approached the pits before actually making the dash jump over. Because if you are at the end of your dash jump, you will fall in. And it's ugly.
This pit gets me too often, where I just dash forward and completely forget it's there.
Ooh, that was close.
What's rubbing on?
Yeah, I did not mean to bring it that close, in all due honesty. Alright, that's the scary part number 1 done.
The cave.
Here's scary part number 2.
You get to see the shooting boss soon.
Mm-hmm. The guide robots.
I actually, for the longest time, did not know that you can switch to your blaster in these sections. I just did not know because I hadn't pressed any of the buttons. But it's useful, really.
It's situational. I'd say that much.
Because most of the time you can do more damage with lightsaber, but there you see grab that power up just because this section is so much faster with the blaster. It's one of the very few things.
Yeah, for sure.
Just to have that hit steal, so it only takes one hit.
Alright, so right here is a scary little pit. I'm just gonna go down like so.
That one. I definitely died to a few times.
We need to get that snow trooper up there, otherwise we'll be stuck.
Yeah. It's kind of got a few things like that, where sometimes there'll just be an enemy that's very high up and out of the way that you have to kill. There's someone off-screen shooting.
Yeah. Okay, that's another scary part done. That's scary part number 2. We're on to scary part number 3.
Yeah. But what a...
So that went about as well as I could ask for. And
Yeah, that was very
now we got AT-AT walkers.
a nice little selection. My first few runs, this was definitely... I know you saw it. Well, I died so many times in this section.
Yes.
Because I could not clear the pits.
Yeah, I could see that pretty darn well. So that right there, I like to call that the leap of faith, because it is one of the scariest jumps, but if you do it the same way, you'll hit it every time.
It does not look very possible, but there's a little ledge you can stand on. That makes it a lot more consistent.
Mm-hmm. And the devs are pretty generous with how much ledge space you get to.
Yeah. The little health back at the beginning also that I saw you grabbed is one that I miss decently frequently. Because it is slightly tight.
Yeah, the jump has a particular timing to it, and if you miss it, you'll either get smashed by the AT-AT foot, or you'll just miss it.
Yeah. Which makes it a little a little tense to go for. 'Cause
Yeah.
you know that you can be wasting a decent amount of time if you die there.
Yeah. One more leap of faith. Just because... Yeah, that one makes me anxious because I know if I miss it, the time loss is...
Yeah.
It's bad.
Quite large.
It's significant.
This is actually going to be really nice to go to find ways. It takes a long time.
It does. Who knows? I might experiment more with the replays to see if certain combinations will result in skipping certain sections, because that'd be good. This is like 3 to 5 minutes.
The one thing with major section we've been able to find like that.
And for those who don't know, the trench run skips can be done by replaying the speeder section on one file and then starting a brand new file.
So you must have already completed the game to be able to do it, which I think is a good enough reason alone to give it a separate category.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really do it from just starting up the game.
Yeah.
This little section, that guy over there, it is surprisingly hard to jump and grab them because of the way the barriers work.
Yeah. So I'm going to handle these separately.
Yeah.
There was good reason I do those two by themselves, because if you try to go back and forth, which would be more optimal, it's a lot more deadly, though.
That little sneaky guy tricks me often, or I forget they're there.
I like this section because you can just press up B.
It is quite satisfying.
Now, because of how badly I did, I'm already, like, a minute faster now.
Wow.
Yeah. And we're gonna go to Dagobah. We got some force training to do.
This is one of my least favorite sections, honestly. I am just surprisingly bad at it.
And, well, more importantly, we get the ability to double jump.
Which is very nice.
Never done that before.
Yeah. The one major thing with this section is if you touch the water, rather than you dying instantly, Yoda tells you off first. Gives you a little warning about how reckless you are.
Yeah, and it's irritating.
It definitely is.
So I don't care about using the Force, because, like, man, why would I do such a silly thing when you can jump over boulders?
Yeah, this section is meant to teach you to use that Force push. Oh, there we go. Which you can use to push the boulders, but most of the time here you can just jump over them. Which we tend to do.
We do that a lot. Okay. Probably should have done that the first time. Right, that's part 1.
There's a lot of text in this section, so it's a lot of mashing.
Yeah. And with the differences between console and emulator, the text itself is just enough where you'll see, like, serious time saved if you play on emulator. And, yeah.
Which is unfortunate. We're trying to find a better way to resolve that.
Mm-hmm. We still are working on it. Ah, dang, that's one of the hardest pits in the game.
Yeah, it really is. I often will jump off the top there, completely forgetting about the water below. And it's just too late.
Oh, also that can happen too.
Yeah, a lot of the swinging weird things happen to them when you're jumping and dashing.
Yeah, it's odd.
You get lucky with the water though. Sometimes like that, you can jump out of them before Yoda tells you off.
Yeah.
Just by the edge, which is a little bit relief in this section.
Hey, look, it's Darth Vader. He's gone. So yeah, that section can be annoying, and if you get in your own head, you can sometimes lose like an upwards of a minute, like I did.
Yeah, definitely the reason I find it difficult.
And it only gets tougher from here on forward, and we're in Cloud City.
Cloud City is quite the section. So the last major one before you learn to be able to heal yourself. So this one you can die on quite easily because the difficulty's ramped up and the only way you're healing is from things dropped by enemies.
Yeah. Now, the one nice upside is this is the last time we have to guide R2-D2 around, which, yeah, forever thankful that we don't have to deal with our astromech droid friend after that.
Rather short, which is nice, so... Interesting how C-3PO is not really in this game.
I'm gonna decide to go to this section without R2, just because I don't want to heal. And also just elevator cycles and then some. Alright, you've been good to us, R2. Thank you for definitely not slowing us down a lot. Alright, good riddance. Now we get to the, one of the most technical sections of the game.
Yeah, I would say it is. Absolutely. Sometimes they from just doing tricks to kill things faster and optimizing.
And then remembering that there are lower parts of the game every now and then.
Yeah.
And make sure to, you know, activate switches and then some.
Those little bridges that you can activate like that,
Yeah.
it is possible to outdash them and kill yourself as they're going out. So you have to be careful of that.
Half the battle here is good movement, and then the other half of the battle is just like getting good, you know, setups with the stormtroopers.
Yeah, knowing where they are, the best way to deal with them at any time is quite important.
You'll see.
You'll talk a lot more movement with the lightsaber now with the double jump.
It's a balance of like uppercuts, circular slash, and then hammer thrust. Clutch that one out. Is this an endless pit? No, it's not. I had good reason to say that. Sorry, I interrupted you. I had good reason to say that because there's a section that looks very similar.
Yeah. I was gonna say a decent amount of this section looks pretty similar, so it can be quite easy to mix things up. This area, this one's quite risky because most of the time you're entering with very low health, and it can be not too difficult to just get yourself killed here. But the health rate drops from this fight.
might die here. Yeah, I will.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's
Yeah,
not...
This is
It's not out of the ordinary to take at least one death in Cloud City, and this is usually the place that it happens.
yeah, definitely the easiest place to die. Little flying balls here can be very annoying for when you're fighting everyone else, because sometimes they are included in the battle screen when you have to kill them, and sometimes they are not.
Yeah,
That can be hard to remember sometimes.
it's true. And it's not always clear as where they are in location to you.
Yeah.
The flying robots are certainly part of that.
Little sections. Definitely interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that. This little bit where it just forces you to wait. If you just try walk, you take damage from those lasers by going too fast.
Mm-hmm. This Stormtrooper section here is sort of a cycle-based section. Aw. Okay, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Ah, thankfully... You know what? Actually, I changed my mind. I'm just gonna take a death here.
It's very interesting because it's one of the few, I think maybe the only that you can grab onto the ledges and stop yourself from dying. If you fall like that is still a 10.
Yeah, which is why I took it very relaxed.
We see the main moves that we choose to use.
I am a fan of spin blades.
Yeah. And just being wider makes it very easy to do AoE. It's quite useful for that. I'm not certain if it's less damaging to single targets than the links, like the OS slash. But that upper slash also moves you along, which is definitely useful. So they all have a place.
They do. And half the reward of playing this game is just learning which each of the techniques are the best in whatever section.
Now this Vader fight can really go a couple ways. It's not too hard to avoid getting sucked into the car nightmare, but the first time it happens, there is a long bit of dialogue. Not too long, but definitely something we want to avoid.
And we did. We did for sure.
Very nice.
I'm gonna grab that first, so we don't have to go back to it later.
Fair enough. I honestly did not think you could grab it before the battle. Which is useful.
that was fairly good. Alright, time for RNG, the game.
Yeah. This little window break section.
We get an early break. Yeah. That was good.
That was nice. This section is interesting because it is quite helpful to get dominated on that right side of the screen, because the further along he is, the less he has to push you back like this in this little cutscene.
Yep.
So that was very nice.
Yeah, that was good. Maybe one of my best Vader fights I've ever had. Pretty darn close. That's episode 5. Hope you're all ready for the scariest episode in the game.
Yeah, this section, very interesting. Getting the heal is quite useful, but it is also something you need to balance, because you gotta be as quick as possible, but you also, dying is quite a hefty punishment, so.
So we got Gamorreans, they throw their axes, and as a beginner, it's really difficult to properly manage them.
They are quite high damaging, honestly. So, if you don't kill them fast enough, you can quite easily kill them.
Yeah. And this is where spin dashing becomes very useful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whoops. It'll lose me about a minute or so.
Yeah, especially with that late in the run, it's quite... Those just kill pets everywhere, so you really gotta know where to take a lot.
And that is why being unrusted with this game is always imperative.
Yeah. You gotta be remembering basically every single pet, which is not the easiest for how long this game is.
Yeah, even at my level, there's still a lot of sections that I get kind of antsy about.
They become a lot more rare now that we have the ability to heal, but you do still see them occasionally. And since they are generally faster to get than sitting down and healing and using your force power, they can still be very nice.
Yeah, for sure. Ideally, the goal would be to not take a single death in this section, but that's not always what we are able to choose.
Yeah, you're going quite low to this little thing. See you lose.
And I pushed it a little bit too risky there.
Unfortunately, because they have the axes that you throw, it wasn't really an option to go up top there and heal away from them. I have tried to, but they just throw your axes and they out-damage you.
And I was on the last one too, so I could have certainly gotten myself out of trouble. It is possible to go through this entire section without using a single force heal, but it's not easy to get it fast. And now for a barrage.
Sections like this are definitely why the health packs that you see early on are very nice to have.
I wonder how much much time I've lost on this section on my world record run, because I only lost like 20 or so seconds. It isn't much. Must have died here.
Now this Franco section is also rather infamous.
Yeah. I'm gonna let some rocks fall.
Yeah, it's surprisingly, it's not that hard to live by just taking the Rango hits. It doesn't do that much damage. It's just waiting for the rocks to fall so you can actually end the fight. There. Take a little bit.
I'm gonna see if we have enough. Probably should. Oh, please. Okay.
Can do it with 2 rocks there, but it is not very consistent. Oh, that is really unfortunate.
That's awful.
That is,
Straight up the worst. So I got some of the worst rank RNG I think I've ever seen.
that was... I don't even know why it didn't go in there. 2 rocks is definitely more consistent, but... Yeah, if it's close enough to the door, you can get 2.
It was on the edge of possibility. Like, both those rocks were just right on it. So...
It looked like it would have gone, but...
Should have worked like 30 seconds ago. So we're in the Sarlacc pit now.
Jumping around these little platforms. An interesting time.
Yeah.
Get flying around soon.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to GBA.
We're actually going to get everybody's favorite bounty hunter in the episode, Which He Belongs.
Yeah, rather than early on.
And, well, if you've watched the particular Ghost Boy video, I tried to get a world record. He would say that Boba Fett is not much of a Boba threat.
It really isn't, but... I mean, there's not much else to do in this section rather than just damage him because it's an auto-scroller, so...
Yeah. So I think Ghost Boy is one of the very few runners in this community, aside from myself, who has fallen into the Sarlacc pit during, like, a speedrun of it.
I think I might have only fallen off the ships like 30 times. I'm not sure why. I don't think I would have submitted that one. I'm not sure why.
I'm not sure you did either.
Yeah, it's decently easy to stay on and down with it, which is interesting.
Alright, that's the end of Boba Fett. He's gone.
Yeah. The weird thing about it is that despite having that outline, you don't really see it go to 0. It normally just takes a decent amount of damage and then decides to fly away.
Yeah, that's our final health pack in the game. We'll definitely need it.
Yeah, no. And in particular, quite a lot of enemies that do quite a lot of damage.
Something I did fail to elaborate upon is that lacking that one health pack has been a pretty big deal. It has resulted in quite a few deaths, actually.
Yeah, I did kind of undermine how much it throws you off, because being used to it means that you just get to do things that are more risky than really you should be doing.
Yeah. It makes enough of a difference that you definitely want to have it. I'm not that far behind. There we go. Okay, now we're getting to another fun section. Fun, definitely in quotation marks.
Yes. The speeder section.
So there's one of two things you can do. You can shoot, or you can ram into the scout troopers, and let me just say, it's not fun either way.
It's very inconsistent, at least to me, the way that you both get knocked about.
Yeah.
Sometimes they seem stronger than you, sometimes you seem stronger than them.
There are certain instances where, like, the scouts are easily overpowered, or some sections where they put up a fight for, like, a minute straight, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's definitely RNG-based. Sometimes I feel like you should, like, switch, but then there's another part of me that's just like, no, that'll lose you more time. Stick to the side you got.
It does feel easier to get them on the top than on the bottom, but I'm not certain if that's actually true.
It feels like a placebo effect sort of thing, where it's just like, that just feels more natural than the other way. Dunno. Yeah.
At least this one's a lot more clear when you hit a checkpoint because of the way it like zips forward. That is nice.
Yeah. We're starting to get to the sections where you actually have the opportunity to shoot away a few of the scout troopers.
Yeah. Which can be very helpful.
It's a big time saver. I guess another thing about Speeder Chase is that shooting bullets will help you indicate where certain obstacles are.
Yeah, there is a little sound effect that if you're hitting something that you can't destroy, which can be nice with how many things you need to keep an eye on.
Wait, a few more to go. Alright, and that's a deathless speeder.
Very nice.
Not as good as you can ask for.
Pretty much.
And things get much scarier from here on forward.
Yeah, the last little section of the run, but quite a vital one.
Endor is, well, the very first section where you get introduced to, a ferocious beast, and the scout troopers become extremely powerful.
Yeah, they really do. Luckily, we gained that amazing move to be able to kill everything on screen, but it does take a little bit to charge up, so it's definitely a time and place for it.
Ooh.
That pit is, yeah, quite the little thing,
Alright. And, just this lovely little section here where they introduce swinging wood blocks, something like that.
Yeah, there are a few jumps here which are those swinging logs just above those metal pits that if you pull into, as always, hits you death. And especially some of these sections, it is right at the end of like 5 minutes of the gameplay. So if you pull those, that's absolutely beautiful.
You're not wrong about that whatsoever. It's why this is one of the most anxiety-inducing sections of the game overall.
Yeah, right at the end. It is quite an interesting mechanic to have. Very overpowered damage that you have directly linked, so you have to balance that.
So a lot of just, like, mentally mapping out where you're going to heal and then where you're going to go all out, because there's certain sections where going all out is nothing but beneficial.
Yeah. You can kind of cut down for some of these. You can just kill huge hordes of enemies with taking no damage yourself, which is really nice. It's super quick to kill. Knowing what you're doing and when to use that ability can save a lot of time.
What I just did there is way riskier than it looks.
Yeah, it's quite close.
Oh, they spawned on the same side. I do forget about that sometimes. It's so far into the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of locations and encounters you gotta remember. It's not a short game.
No, not whatsoever. Nope. Nope, nope.
Ooh, that was quite close.
I thought about it, but then I realized, like, you know, I got through one fight encounter already. I'd rather just not.
Those white bugs definitely make you use more of the upwards spin. But yeah, still the ground slam that kills everything is still quite useful throughout the thing. Throughout this section.
We're gonna heal a little bit here. We're coming up on some busy stormtrooper sections here. I'm wondering... Oh, no, we're at the end of that section. Okay.
That ground slam can also be very nice for how surprisingly wide it is. This little area, it can be surprisingly tough to hit these bugs mid-air, because a lot of the time, like that, they can just fly out of your reach.
And there's almost nothing you can do about it either.
Really want to be quick there, because if you're not, you may have seen one of the screens that would be, I'm not sure what bug it is, that would be, or maybe a useful. Well, that enemy anyway comes by and can really annoy you as you're trying to get up. If you're not quick enough.
Thank goodness there was a platform underneath.
Yeah. Really not a very safe workplace.
I have no clue how the Ewoks survive here this whole time with, like, endless pits, and it's like an OSHA violation out here.
Absolutely. It's really not how they should use those things.
Mm-hmm.
These guardrails, you can literally walk right through them.
Yeah. True enough. Okay.
A lot of time, these platforms can slash water, as you can see in the earlier sections, which can be quite useful. Sometimes it is easy to just use up.
Mm-hmm. We're coming up on another scary pit.
It is very funny how the stormtroopers will see you heal in front of them and just keep shooting at the same time. Missing every time.
Okay. no, 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 no! What?
Oh no!
How did that happen?
That was so unlucky.
Did the cutscene end as I was, like, dashing off?
Yeah.
That has never happened to me before, either.
I have never seen that. That is so unfortunate.
I was playing it so safe, too.
And that is just a great example of how brutal this section is.
Mm-hmm, I agree.
One dash. That is... So I think you killed the last enemy, which just removed the ball you were dashing into.
Yeah. So I think I'll stay stationary this time. Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon so.
They throw everything at you on these last, like, 2 encounter screens.
Yeah, they really do.
This is where force blitzing.
Again, if you die, you're going straight back. Man.
Alright, one more Endor section. That's the scariest part. It gets easier from here on forward. Not that it's, like, free, but that's the worst of it. At this point, it just comes down to good force management for these last few sections.
The game is pretty generous with giving you force a lot of the time, but sometimes, some specific fights I find, there is just no enemies dropping it and you can run out.
Oh, that's right. I'm getting all my health back.
So, yeah, if you're not quick enough with grabbing them, they are just gone. This section.
Now this room here, knowing when the enemies spawn is super important.
Being able to know when there's a huge horde coming up and you can slam into the body is huge time save.
Mm-hmm. I did pretty decently here, actually. Better than average. Okay, all the bullets despawned. Thank the heavens for that.
Interesting. I've never seen that happen to me. A lot of the time, you'll get shot. At least one's trying to just get up because of that firing squad. Like, it's decently easy to predict those.
Mm-hmm. We've really only got one last...
Remember to save some force though, because this little this way, so...
Right. Can we pet the doggos?
Yeah. I also found that if you dash too fast, you can get hurt by the boulder that's rolling the other way, away from you, which is interesting. There we go.
Gold sport.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah, thank you. That was actually really well done. Very minor mistakes, and I guess I'm gonna have to update the timesheet now.
Not what I was expecting, but there we go.
We'll take it.
Absolutely.
One more section left in this game to go. We gotta fight our dad one more time, so...
Final time. This probably when he's most menacing, this one. somehow it's probably better for, worse for time loss. It really is that scary though.
Yeah. Alright. I am not getting any hits on Vader right now. That was the longest I've ever seen it take.
Yeah. I think it was because he was like pushing it. I'm not sure.
Like right there, that's like
why that section even exists.
like that section was normal. That's the normal speed it usually takes.
It is.
So what I found to be easiest for this fight is just a kind of uppercut where the lightsaber is not.
You can decently easily stun Darth Vader, as you can see, where he just cannot really fight back. So the section's just trying to do it fast as possible.
Alright.
There we go.
And that's about it. Aside from some major mistakes, this was a fun run. I had a good time. I showed off some cool stuff, and hopefully we'll get the sub 120.
Hopefully. Getting a gold split's definitely very nice little thing.
Yeah, little bonus. We're coming up on time, and time.
Here we go.
1:19:38. Now, I've had runs that were this fast with less deaths, which just shows you how much the movement tech has improved between the year 2021 and now.
Yeah, it really has gone crazy.
It's immense how much, like, the community, for as small as it is, has found tons of, like, small optimizations, and there's so much more that could be found if just a few more people join, so if you're interested in joining the Star Wars speedrunning trilogy speedrunning community, I don't know, DM one of us on Twitch right now, and we'd be gladly willing to give you an invite link and join in on the party.
You do not need... You can run on an emulator, which we have sorted a better way to deal with, but it's not too hard. You can get into it pretty easily.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
It's one of those ones where it's like, it's really fun at almost every single stage. It's fun when you're, like, first playing through it, and then it's fun to figure out what stuff works and what stuff doesn't. And then at the top level, it's even more fun. It's like, it's so satisfying once you learn each, like, the techniques and where they're, like, most helpful in certain sections. So there's plenty left to learn here, and potentially the people watching could be the future of this game. Who knows?
Nice to see.
Yeah. Well, regardless what happens, yeah, that's Star Wars Trilogy, Apprentice of the Force. I hope everybody who's watching enjoyed the run. I'd like to give a bit of a thank you to Moontruther for providing some commentary while I'm focusing on the game.
Yeah, that's alright. It's fun media.
Alright, folks, that is Star Wars Trilogy of the Apprentice of the Force. We got one more run left for the marathon tonight, so I will be moving onwards to Jackie Chan Adventures, which is coming up next.